What is up, comic book people, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Oh boy, Tiffany's back.
I
My better
am.
half, 89% better show as a result of Tiffany's return. So happy to see her. Let's give her all a ComicPop welcome to her returning to the show. Especially big thanks to those of you out there who gave us some support because Ben's birthday was the 15th, and a lot of folk came out of the woodwork to give him some happy birthday congratulations and whatnot. And that's always nice.
Yes, it is.
And we made a little compilation.
There was no we. You
yeah, I
made
sat
it.
down and I made a whole thing.
You did. It was great. You had the idea, and then you're like, I should have done this, and then I did.
Yep. And it took me like a couple hours, but I did it. And yeah,
with help from the ComicPop community.
That's right. Yeah, the audience helped out, especially over on like Discord and Patreon, all of which have links that are in the description below every video you can check out here. And of course, if you want to support this show, you can do so by subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications, so you know when we go live, which is typically on this channel at least at ComicPop Returns Monday nights around 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come by and hang out with us where we talk about comic books that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. And then we're going to pick out our book of the week, and then we recommend books that are coming out this week. Yeah, that you can pick up.
Heck yeah.
And also we talk about the news and reviews and stuff like that. There's not a ton of like comic book industry news, but Donny Cates came out much like Punxsutawney Phil and was like, hey, I'm back. Maybe you should look out for me at some point. Like literally just came out on social media and was like, I'm back. And, posted a selfie, proof of life, and was like, I'm around and I'm working on things and you can keep an eye out for them and they're coming soon. And I'm like, okay, that's all right. Good luck to you, man. I'm glad you're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Okay. And it was just interesting to me to see like that kind of announcement because I'm like, you don't see that too often. You know, you see publishers going like, Bendis is coming, but you don't see like Bendis do his own PR to go like, I'm back, baby. And it's like, okay, like, but it worked for the Backstreet Boys and other musical accompaniments who announced that they've returned.
Oh, is that
from, whence they came.
Okay.
I'm just, tossing it out there.
Yes, you're equating Donny Cates to the Backstreet Boys.
I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Listen, I would take it as a compliment if I were making Backstreet Boysian money.
Okay.
Fair,
yeah.
I don't care what you think about the Backstreet Boys. Kids ate. They made bank. When I say kids, of course, I mean like 20-somethings who are now like 50-somethings. But anyway. Whatever indeed. So, but we want to welcome Donny Cates back to the comic book industry. We're thrilled to hear that he has returned, and we're hoping to read some of his works soon. I hope it's great. Can't wait.
Right?
Of course, if you want to sponsor this show, you can do so by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment, read here on the show, and be part of the show forever. We like to try and keep the riffraff out, but that don't pay the bills or plug any leaks. So we do appreciate the support. And we got quite a few of them ahead of time, but we're going to talk about
leaks?
those. Well, yeah, we got that too, but no, we got a bunch of Super Chats already, but I wanted to say that we also have plenty of leaks. Yeah, no, we're currently shopping. Actually, not actively, but passively shopping for new digs for ComicPop.
Yeah.
Because I'm fed up. I'm sick of it. It's actually, unfortunately, not like...
It'll be like smaller.
It'll be smaller.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's two locations I'm looking at right now. One I've seen the interiors of, and the other one I've not.
Mm-hmm.
But not too far. So... All right.
Love this.
Yep.
Love this.
Awesome.
I mean, it's been like it was only a week, and I'm still like, wait, how does the show work?
I know.
Which
right?
I know you just explained it, which I'm glad you did.
I did. Thank you.
But I'm like, we got. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So all right, let's pop some sodas and talk about comic books.
I have a seltzer.
I know.
Oops. It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, I think so.
Right now.
Well, let's start things off with some enthusiasm for Amazing Spider-Man, a book that sucks on toast. From Justina Ireland, with art by Nico Henriksen and Andrea Baccardo. This is the continuation of The Eight Deaths of Spider-Man, which is occasionally written by Joe Kelly. Not this time, but chronicling the adventures teased in the previous iteration. Juggernaut, member of the Sidorak family, kind of got the crystal embedded in his body.
Now a relationship.
Yes, he's connected.
Connection.
You knew it was coming. That's right. Spider-Man has rejected the call to adventure from Doctor Strange,
and he's holding to it.
He's consistently not helping because he saw like a billion deaths and he's sad, and so he's and they're committing, they're committing to a Spider-Man-less Spider-Man series right now. They have
committed to the bit,
and you could feel like I felt like maybe the pitch was no, and then he's not Spider-Man for like 4 or 5 issues.
Well, I mean,
and they
can get away with it.
Yeah, but it's really better written. And so this has X-Men in it. And I can feel like the editorial was like, you got to put somebody. You can't have like 4
I think they're just trying to get some synergy going.
Well, 100%, because a bunch of characters showed up and I recognized all of them, but also I was like, I feel nothing. I was like Spider-Man in that moment where the X-Men showed up and I was like, I'm not reading your book. I couldn't care less about all of you.
Yeah. So I've been like
you've been
fine with this.
Fine, yes. I wouldn't say a fan.
But I will say this issue in particular made me go, I am low-key, if not actually secretly high-key, annoyed at the marketing of this book.
Oh, yeah.
In which I was and I'm not saying listen, this is no shade thrown at Ireland whatsoever.
No.
I am definitely throwing shade towards Marvel for being like, this is a Joe Kelly book. Joe Kelly's back on Spider-Man. Joe Kelly's going to be writing The Eight Deaths of Spider-Man. Here we go.
Yeah, that was before Joe Kelly was the official writer on Spider-Man after this is done.
So like when Ireland was filling in occasionally, like that was fine, but this is not Joe Kelly's book anymore, and it really bothers me because like I do like when Joe Kelly talks about death. I like that a lot, and I'm just not getting that anymore, and that's what's really like got me going. Like, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of it's funny because your frustration is with the creative team. So to speak,
it's really with the marketing, and I get it. It's because you didn't have a plan, but it's still a Marvel issue. That still comes down to the fact that it's like, listen, I get that you didn't have a plan, but you should have had one.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, the machine runs itself. It should be easy, relatively speaking. I don't want to seem ignorant of the like industry itself, but like it should be easy to get Spider-Man out.
Yeah.
Of course, we also have 2 artists in this book, neither of whom are doing anyone any favors. The book is just bland and like it's listless and dull.
Right.
And it's supposed to be. I mean, like, look, the theme, so to speak, or motif at least of this book is that Pete's sad / depressed. He's broken. They broke Peter.
He's not sad and depressed. He's a nihilist.
Right, now he's a nihilist.
He's a total nihilist.
Yeah.
I do want to address something in the chat where they're just like Marvel always said it was Ireland and Kelly who was writing.
No, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure in the initial like big marketing push, the emphasis was on Kelly.
Yeah, no.
Which, listen, marketers lie to you all the time. I work in a communications department. I recognize that. So I don't need to be educated about marketing. What I'm just saying is that like I really thought we were actually going to get like Joe Kelly's story here, and when Joe Kelly's on the book feels different.
Oh, sure, yeah. And it's not to say that Ireland wouldn't have had her own fantastic series,
right? Which means that like didn't just do that.
Yeah,
but they couldn't sell that.
Can't sell that, or at least I don't know how. And of course, the book is essentially selling itself. Like they think that the book sells itself, and it like look, it does. The fact is, every month or twice a month, when this title comes out, if it is in the top 5, top 10 selling books of the month or of the week it comes out, then you are proving Marvel right that they can have deterioratingly hot, like low quality art and deceptive marketing practices on the creative front.
Marketers are always going to do that, but it's just hard when you get attached to a book.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or at least that you're like excited for a book.
You tend to, I tend to give it more of a pass when it's an artist, just because of how monumental the art job side or the art side of it.
Oh, it's a Herculean effort every time. It's a miracle a book comes out.
Yeah, so like when they advertise like an artist being on a book and then like don't get to be there for most of it, that sucks, but you get it more for some reason.
Yeah.
But you know, like there's like when Ireland had been filling in before, like it felt more like along Joe Kelly's like plans.
Yeah.
This one felt very like, okay. Like we're like there were things that happened in this, and there is a series of pages in this where the art shifts, and it's kind of like interesting and fun, and like it's Doctor Strange doing whatever. And
oh my god,
it's fine. It's like,
I thought it was. I mean, it was better than that.
It was fine, but like for me, I had this moment when looking at that like section, not the art, but all the pages, everything that was being written. I was like, this is what people think it's like reading a Doctor Strange book. Because there's no real answers. It's just like, oh, when I was younger, this thing happened and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, moving on, magic. And I was like, that's what people think it's like. And at times it is.
So, more often than not, it is.
You're not wrong.
You read Doom and you're like, yeah.
Very, like, I was like, okay, yes. But usually there's a little bit more of an explanation, but it's like, there's this thing. Here it is. Yeah, whatever. Moving on. Just another thing, another level of something. And I just expected, I know what I expected. I guess
you expected at least a Joe Kelly book.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did. And I just don't think this is doing justice to either writer.
Yeah, no. Also, this cover is just a straight up lie. Like this is a fun, powerful image that I would like to have seen. And I'm not here to split hairs. Covers are lies. They're the first. They're the first and greatest lie.
Maybe the covers are more about what comes. Like it's actually more for the next issue.
Wow, I love when covers tease the next issue.
Well, I've seen that.
Marvel
does
that a lot.
I've definitely seen that.
Marvel's been doing that for 55 years. Like, there's no way that isn't the thing. But also, like it's like a joke at this point. Like when you're looking at this kind of book and you go like, man, look at Spider-Man triumphantly wielding magic and hanging out with the X-Men. And like you open that, like, imagine being 13,
right?
You know, and being excited about Spider-Man comics and going to your local comic book store miraculously, and then seeing that cover and just going like, oh, Spider-Man, I want to be on the ground floor. I just watched that cartoon that everyone's crowing about for some reason, and I'm in. So you pick it up. Spider-Man's got the half moon eyes, and he's just like, no. And a bunch of like ugly X-Men. When I say ugly, I just mean I don't like the outfits.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking specifically of Juggernaut. I just don't like the new Juggernaut suit. But and by new I mean like the last 5-6 years the Juggernauts look like that. But I'm like, here's a bunch of X-Men, and they're fighting some randos. And Spider-Man's sad. Doctor Strange is the heroic one in this one, being like, what are you doing?
Yo, you got to get out there, man. Right? You got to go out there and,
it's not,
try.
Everybody's comic is somebody's first. Oh, well, and last.
It's not, it's more or less that, like,
it ain't
there
good.
is something about the idea of like being like, hey, do you want to write Spider-Man?
Right?
It's like, yeah,
desperately.
Sure. I mean, like, what? That'd be amazing. And you can say that you've done it.
Sure.
But like I said, like I just don't.
And don't look into it.
I just don't think this is fair. It's not fair to Joe Kelly, who was like, here's a book I'm gonna do, and then Marvel's like, hey, we're actually Joe, come here. Is there like any way? What size check would it take for you to just take the book over afterwards until we figure? Because we don't know.
Right? Because we don't know who's going to take over, and nobody wants the job because it's a thankless,
we don't know
miserable
what's
existence.
Going on here. And we'll just get someone else to fill in. Hey, how do you feel about filling in on a Joe Kelly book?
Well, I don't know. Maybe
what's going on?
Maybe Joe Kelly and Justin Ireland work together. We don't know where she came from.
Maybe, but like it feels always so very different when each creator is on it, and it feels less of a collaboration, more of like, hey, thank you so much for filling in, which is not fair to her.
No, you compare that to a book that's written by 3 different writers, like the Avengers No Surrender series, and it's like night and day. Where it's like that's 3 different writers who you don't know necessarily who's writing at any given point because of how well they work together, and they'd never worked together before. And you have something like this where it's like you had some time to plan this out. I don't know. It's just I don't want to beat a dead horse here. The book is not great, and it doesn't live up to the title.
But that section, I was like, oh yeah, this is literally what people think it's like to read a Doctor Strange book, and at times it is. 100%.
I thought that it was so jarring. There's a sequence in here, where Tiffany was talking about that, like reminding me almost of Shambhala, where I was like, it was like painted and stuff. It was at least it was artistic. It was doing something.
Yeah, it was meant to key into more Doctor Strange, and that's why this issue for me, I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. And like, I love the fact that like the X-Men actually are successful. They're just like, cool, we're gonna do this thing over here.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're gonna lose. Like this
is getting a little muddy.
Yes.
For me. And what I thought was going on with the siblings clearly is not where. I don't know if it was never going there. I don't know.
Or they changed gears.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It ain't
great. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. The book has always been a shame, but like this is like it's well beyond where we were. You know, like it's not quite like Zeb Wells, where it's like, boy, Zeb Wells really doesn't get this character. Oh, except for that one issue where he really gets the character. Like, what's going on here? And it's just it's the frustrating part of reading something made by a mega conglomerate or consuming media made by like a soulless corporation. I don't mean to imply that like I'm on that bandwagon where I'm like, oh, well, it's Disney, which means blah, 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 blah. Like, didn't you see Captain America 4? Which, by the way, we have not. But Ethan did text me and he's like, I want to see Captain America 4. Do you guys want to go see Captain America 4 this week?
We'll go with him.
So we'll go with Ethan and go see Captain America 4.
That'd be perfect. We didn't, honestly, because we
busy.
Birthday. And honestly, like we could have gone on Saturday.
Yeah, we forgot.
No, it was bad. Remember, because of like the ice and the snow.
Oh yeah, no, the weather did not work out.
Yeah, so.
And then and then at like 9:30, we were like, oh yeah, I could have seen Captain America.
Would have had to see it in the morning, and it just wasn't going to happen.
No, but you hear about the Captain America hubbub where it's like, oh, this is the MCU now. It's garbage, and it's like I'm not there yet, but it is frustrating to be like. Marvel needs to do some like real subtle. I mean, the world needs to do this, but like the Marvel needs to do some real like covert, subtle narrative shifting that like puts forth at least the idea that they give a shit. And right now, if you're reading comic books month to month, or if you're a regular casual reader, I feel like there's no way that you are immune to the blurred lines between like reading and meta reading. I don't know for a fact. I mean, I feel like it has to be, only because the book consistently sells despite a like marked diminishment in quality. Like the audience is just either that undiscerning or they simply don't care.
And I mean, it very much could be that. There are things that I'll see sometimes where I'm just like, why are we okay with that? And I don't know. It could also just be that sometimes like you're not looking for a challenge.
I mean, look, in this world today, I get it. I get looking for an escape. But what kind of escape is this?
I live in a state where it's like at any moment I have access to like 10 different pizzerias of different like styles of pizza and different quality of it. And every once in a while I'm like, you know what I really could go for is just a really shitty frozen pizza.
Yeah.
And not because it's better than those, because that's what I want. I just want something it's not good. I know it's not good. But I want it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm happy to have it. And like, I don't want to like defend it or talk about it, but I just want to eat it. I want to be left alone. And I just want you to shut up about it. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe like Amazing Spider-Man has become the frozen pizza.
It certainly has. But like for me, if you are going to do that, like go to Newcomb Comics in West Amwell, New Jersey, spend 50 cents and buy the millions of other comic books that are equally shitty that came out like, 30 years ago.
On the other hand, too, I'm staying current. Yeah. I get to go and do something.
You're a part of the conversation. Yeah. No, I'm reading Spider-Man. Yeah. I'm part of the action. Oh, it blows.
Yeah.
But I am reading it and I am paying, $6 practically a month. Like, come on. Yeah. I don't know. And I understand. It's so frustrating. I don't want to dwell on it because I know we want to get the show going.
You've already said that, which is amazing. You don't want to dwell on it.
Yeah, I say that a lot. But like, I hear it all the time. Like, I'm so sick of hearing this argument in every aspect of my life. That is just like, do you understand? Like, you just don't understand how hard it is. You just don't understand. Like, if you knew how hard it was to do the thing you're asking, then you would understand how we wouldn't be, like, why it doesn't happen. And I am sick to death of that excuse for why I can't have anything good. And I don't mean that to say that, like, all comics are bad, or that, like, Spider-Man's, suckitude is a, litmus test for culture. But, like, it happens so often, it feels like it's happening a lot. And I'm tired. And everyone is tired. Everyone is sick of it. Like, everyone is tired of being told that the good thing they want can't happen because it's just too complicated. And I'm like, there's nothing less complicated than putting out a good comic book. That's it.
I guess. I don't know, but just because like working in an office space with like communications and marketing teams, and again, it's like not the same level as like Marvel, by any means. It's like a fraction of that, but like, and not in that industry at all. There will be things where I'm like, why we should just do this, and it's like,
we can't just do that.
Yeah,
we can't just do the thing.
Yeah, and then when like you do get the reaction, the reason for it, sometimes I'm like, no, that's stupid, and sometimes I'm like, all right, that's very fair.
Yeah. That's all. And look, I don't care. Look, if you watch this show enough and you go back a couple of years, you will hear me talking about just publishing an omnibus for the Amalgam books. They did it.
Well, yeah.
They did it. You know what I mean? They did it. And
they did it, but along the way you thought it was never going to actually come out.
I did, but I was convinced by them that it couldn't happen. I was asking questions like, why can't they do that? Here's how they could do it. And I'm a layman. I don't really know how it works, but it feels like it's a pretty like uncomplicated process. And I'm told constantly, and I'm told that I'm wrong for reasons I can't even fathom. And they do it anyway. That tells me, and it's not like, oh, well, Amalgam means that's the light that will guide us through to the golden age. But like, it's just proof to me that like I'm not wrong all the time, and that like my optimism should be met with at least some measure.
I understand that like, the comments might make you feel like that, but like I don't think most people like you're right more than you're wrong typically.
I appreciate that, but like
when it comes to comics,
and I'm not trying to be. Well, thank you. That's even. But I'm not even trying to say that, like, I'm right. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not trying to say, like, stop telling me I'm wrong. But it's so often that we are told no or why, that even if it's a minority, it is so deafening because it's so consistent. It's like that's their job. People who go out of their way to tell you how you can't do something or have something. That like it is deafening, and it gets in your craw, and you think, and you start to believe it. Is
it feasible, or is it possible that they're treating Amazing Spider-Man like, okay, so it's like, let's just say you were playing a video game where you're like building a restaurant or you're doing something like that, right? There's always that one thing that you have that is going to sell.
Yes.
Right, and it's on that back, regardless of how you don't get to change or do anything fun with it or whatever, that you build the rest of your industry, or let you take chances on other things. Yeah. Because it's like, well, I'll just keep this consistent and boring because I know it'll sell.
Yes.
And then because I'm doing that. So like Spider-Man, like I don't care. Just do whatever. Like, yeah, okay, sure. As long as you don't do any of these things, you're fine. Let's just do this and keep it very consistent. And that way I know that at the end of the month, we're going to get this amount of money. Cool. Yes. And then that amount of money, we can take some bigger swings on some other things.
Right. We can make Moon Knight a great series, which it is. Like, and that's because I don't want to get lumped in with a lot of naysayers and profiteers on negativity,
right,
who make it their cottage industry to say that Marvel sucks because of XYZ.
Right.
And I won't even dignify what those X's and Y's and Z's stand for. But I don't want to get lumped into there because Marvel does make good comics and they're capable of it, which makes this even more frustrating. It could be like that. It could be the fact that they're like, the kitchen's on fire. But
I try to make soup and I fail.
Right. But like, or it's like, or soup is the only thing we have going. When we're a burger joint, but we can get that soup out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then the soup better be damn good.
But if I know it's going to sell,
right, and that's the thing.
I know that every at the end of this month, I know I'm going to get this amount of money. Then I'm just going to keep it boring and consistent because it's safe.
Right, right.
And maybe safety is too dangerous. I don't know.
Safety should be dangerous, but I think for them, this is a company who have leadership who remember when they file for bankruptcy.
Right.
Like they're afraid of change, failure.
Oh, I'm
tumult.
sure. And I'm like, you're also surrounded with like a endless amount of like content in the world, whether it be a video or a post or whatever, about people questioning if the comic book industry is dying. And it's like, if you have that coming at you all the time.
Oh yeah.
Safety is maybe not the best thing for creativity, but maybe it's the best thing for your business model. I don't know.
Yeah, you are a business. I recognize that. And I say it all the time where it's like, look, this is a business at the end of the day. It is about making money, or at the very least, if you don't make money, we don't get the art, but make art at the very least. Like, don't forget what your job is, like, I don't care, if you're like garbage men come up the road, if they are like fantastic breakdancers, but if they don't pick up the garbage, it's like, what the hell are you doing here?
All right.
Anyway, I read Batman Dark Patterns. This is a gorgeous, great book. Hayden Sherman, Dan Waters. This just wrapped up. This is the third issue
of this first
first chapter. Like, the idea is it's going to be like 3 different series.
I don't love this cover because I can feel it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I don't hate it as much as the last one that I could also not. I could not stand.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, this book, it looks great. It feels great. It's classic Batman. It's old school stuff. Batman dealing with Jim. Jim shouldn't trust the mayor. The mayor, I don't think has a name. He's roped up in all the shenanigans. Roman Sionis is involved. We have the Wounded Man, new character, interesting background. We get the whole origin for who he is.
Play.
I know.
Recently.
Yeah, he's a cheap, easy character you could probably put in the Batman too.
So that's true.
This looks great, feels great. You get the backstory for who the Wounded Man is, why he is, what he's doing, how he's involved with Sionis, like all this great stuff, and a good-looking book to boot. If you have not already pulled Batman Dark Patterns, you should. This is what Detective Comics should feel like all the time. That said, I do like what Tom Taylor is doing with Detective Comics, but this feels like a Legends of the Dark Knight or a classic Detective Comics story.
I think it's meant to make you think of Legends, like, for sure.
Oh yeah, from the circular Batman emblem to the time period it's set in to the subject matter itself. Like, they're just, they're happy to play in this world, and it shows, and it's really successful. So congratulations to the team for a beautiful 3-issue story. You could stop here and never read any more if they do more and be satisfied. But I promise you this, I'm going to check out the next chapter in the Dark Patterns arc and see where it goes. But I can't say enough glowing things about this good Batman book. What about you?
I read let's go with Bug Wars real quick.
Bug Wars.
I read this because why not? You share this tab instead. Hit that one.
Hang on.
Okay, Sal knows how this works.
Yeah, there we go. Bug Wars.
Bug Wars. This is
you didn't do your thing.
I don't want to listen.
You just got overstrep.
I just got over strep throat. My voice was not well.
I just want to address it because the audience will too.
Bug Wars. This is written by Jason Aaron, with art by Mahmoud Asrar.
No way! The Conan team?
Yeah, I knew about this since New York Comic Con.
That's right. He had a copy of this on the table, right?
No, he pitched it to me because I brought him Conan. He's like, well, if you like that,
you're going to love Bug Wars.
You're going to try what I got coming out next. And I was like, all right, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Sure.
Picked it up, started reading it. And I'm not going to lie, in the first few pages, I was like, all right, apparently I need like a character that I know a bit about. Like, I didn't really know much about Conan, but at least I know Conan.
You're familiar with Conan.
And with the same thing with like Namor, I'm like, I don't really know Namor that well, but okay, cool. With this is a little bit of a struggle until you get past the first few pages, and all of a sudden what the actual story is about, if you didn't read the summary, if you read the summary about it beforehand, you'd be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get through it. But if you're like me, you're just like, well, I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah.
And you get to it, and like the heart of this book, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yes, I see, of course, because it's Aaron.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So like, if I had to pitch this to you though, right, and do like that industry thing where I'm like, it's like this and this and this
meets this, yeah.
Well, it's this meets this meets this.
Okay. 3.
So like, I want to say that this book is sort of like, what's my third one? I can't remember what it was. Oh my gosh, I had it right before we started the show. I was like, I got this.
Oh, let's try selling it first.
Well, that's what I'm trying to remember is what the third one was.
Yeah.
It's got the energy of Absolute Batman.
Oh, wow. Oh, they'd like to hear that.
Yeah, I guess it's got the like Conan feel
vibe.
Meets Helen of Windhorn.
Oh, wow. So it's just 3 books that you enjoy.
Yes. And yet, like, I'm not sure if I'm vibing with this, and not because it's not well done. It's just written at a very different tone, and like the characters are a little more like that with that Absolute Batman energy in there. That's what's like shaking
Throwing
me
you
a
off.
little bit, right? Because in Absolute Batman, like especially in the issues where it seems like maybe Dragotta had a little more
influence.
Yes. That's what this is. It's got a little more like in your face. And I got no problem with cursing. I'm from New Jersey.
No, yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, okay. So it's like if you felt like Helen of Windhorn was maybe too like
safe,
flowery.
Oh, okay. Highbrow.
Yeah, then you might be more interested. Like if you like the concept of Helen of Windhorn,
but it kind of like pushed you off from,
Yeah, like maybe this less high fantasy. Well, no, there's it's very bizarre. It's a little bizarre, but also I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And there's like a little bit of body like horror for like a moment in there. There are a lot of bugs in here, and there's like angst, and like there's a hardworking mom, and like it's supposed to be very down to earth.
Literally,
like down to earth in like in the like emotional.
It's grounded,
but also like tiny. People are tiny, teeny tiny people.
Okay.
And just made up things by Jason Aaron. And I know it doesn't sound like I enjoyed it, but
you're really selling
I did. Well, it's just like it's such a bizarre concept in a way, right? Like it's like they're like the idea that like there are bugs and then there are like bug people.
Okay.
And there's all these factions, and it's all taking place in this yard essentially. And this like family is moving back into this home which was owned by their husband/father.
Okay.
Who has passed. You get the idea for that. You discover something about what happened to them and why there's these two brothers. I think the family is called
Two Brothers.
No, I think the family's called like Slaymaker or something like that. And you got the two brothers, and one of them hates bugs and one of them loves bugs. And
okay, I mean, like when you say it like that, it sounds silly, but
it does. But like there's a reason for it. It's not my job to tell you what that reason is, because it kind of ruins the big like moment,
yeah,
for it for sure.
Okay.
But one of the kids' name is Slade, and the other one is Sydney, and yeah, so it's I think it's fun, and I feel like Asrar's art is really good in this. Like sometimes I feel like folk don't love the like consistency of Asrar, but like I think it's even like he's just constantly getting better. And I have loved his art all throughout Conan.
Oh yes.
I think it's incredible.
You've met him, you've talked about how great it is.
Yes, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but trust me, this is like not silly. It is not like whimsical and fun and something that like a child should read without like supervision and whatever. But like it is like it's just a more edgy version, like feel of like Helen of Windhorn.
Okay.
Where it's like take a person, right? Like take a broken family and then add this other element.
This fantastical element.
This fantastical element. Like add that in there.
It's very modern, it's very consistent.
But then also add like the whole like Jason Aaron's desire to write about kingdoms and lore and all of this stuff and build that on in there. And then again, like act like, someone from like more like a Spawnian image was helping you be like, all right, well now say something ridiculous like this. say something angry like
someone
this.
Younger was like, hey, well, say it like, or older actually. That's funny.
But like I think this is fun, and if you were looking for like a Jason Aaron book that was more akin to Conan, I think give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, I assume, I don't know if you did, but One World Under Doom.
Yeah, of course
Ryan
I read
RB
this.
Silva, the kickoff to a massive Marvel event is Doom has taken over the world, and the Avengers are not happy about it. So what are we going to do about it? And so yeah, this is for a lot of people, I'm sure, the first introduction to Ryan North in the Marvel universe. North has, of course, made his bones at Marvel doing Fantastic Four series and kind of like setting this all up, although it was also set up because Doom took over the Source of Supreme during Blood Hunt. So it's kind of like Jed McKay's like, volleying the ball to North, who's spiking it over the net. This is very much, I think, like not a distillation. It's more like a here's what you've been missing. Like if you skipped Fantastic Four, this is kind of the tone that we're going for. Something kind of like fun but grounded and Marvel. And I'm like, okay, I'm with you.
Yes.
Doom is consistent perfection, monologuing. The heroes, it's fun to see them all in one place and not punching each other.
Right? Look at them not punching
right?
each other.
I got this theme, and I remember it, like, I think Zdarsky did it again with Devil's Reign, but like this theme of like the heroes being kind of like surprised and disappointed in humanity. They didn't really, but you know, where I think it's coming. You know, where basically Doom declares himself unquestioned Lord and Master of the world. The governments of the world all kind of fall in line. This is a little bit less mind control-y than Emperor Doom, which is a story from like 400 years ago. And so the heroes are like, well, it has to be mind control or some kind of thing. And I'm like, no, it isn't. It's just going to be people voluntarily signing up for Doom's reign. And it's not, they haven't done that yet, I don't think, at Marvel, where it's like, it's the world outside your window. No, everyone just fell in line with fascism.
Right.
Like, it's not quite there. Zemo declares war on Doom. He's like, nope, Hydra ain't falling in line, goes to fight Doom, then calls up everyone on like the big screen and says, no, actually, we're good. Doom dispatches Hydra to build hospitals and stuff like that. And
so can we talk about that real quick? See, was there any, because I already know the answer to this, that like you were like, yes, Doom sucks and take him down. There was a point where I was just like, maybe we should just whoa, universal healthcare, hold on. Maybe we should chat with Doom and see, why don't we have a conversation first before, do I disagree with the way in which he did it? Yes.
Sure.
Having like literal, I don't want to say it because I'm afraid we'll get demonetized. Like go and build hospitals. I'm like, there's something very like satisfying about that. Right.
Put them to work. Yeah.
And like having them like clear minefields. I'm like, 100%.
Run them all. Run all of them
across over there. Yes. But immediately the heroes are like, wait, but we know. And I'm like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But also I could benefit from you going and having a conversation with him in which it's just like, okay, no, he's an ass.
Yeah. The frustrating
thing. And
I
know he is. Yeah. But I'm just like, education for everybody.
Yeah.
Like if you want it, you could just have it.
I know.
I was like,
yeah.
The poor girl in me is like, but I do want that.
Yeah, I would love that. It's funny because for me, I'm like, all I could think about is being a regular person. You want to take that?
I have to.
Is being a regular person in the Marvel Universe and just being like, so if Doom can do this, why can't you? Like that for me, that's my most frustrating element to the story here of One World Under Doom. That and the fact that Doom was a literal god already and recreated the world. And so it's that thing that I was always worried about after Secret Wars, where I'm like, well, Doom was God. Where do you go from here? And then Doom takes over the world again, but he's doing it with Doctor Strange's cape. I still dig it, and I'm not like crapping on the idea because look, you what do you do after Secret Wars? You make him a hero and then immediately end that story in a really disappointing miniseries. But I would, if I were a member of the Marvel Universe, I'd be like, so after the dust settles, just going to like Avengers and like Mansion or where the hell they live now, and going like, yeah, hi, so we were all on board for you toppling the evil dictator Dr. Doom, but like, if Captain America did that, like, what's stopping you? Of course, the point here is that like Doom's power and unquestioned like law is what's keeping the other nations in line. It's not just that people have been like clamoring to listen to Doom and do what he wants. It's also this kind of like, well, he'll destroy us with his magic or his power gauntlets or his, insane technological might. There's any number of ways that Doom can strong arm the world into doing what he wants. But having like magic spells and stuff doesn't hurt. But yeah, overall, the heroes mass together. They go lay siege to Latveria using a fun conveyance that it allows for a delightful banter between Human Torch and Spider-Man, which I would love to see more of. Also, this book presupposes the idea that like Spider-Man eventually just gets over himself, which I'm like thrilled by.
Right?
Welcome back. What's everything okay?
Oh yeah, they just couldn't find the house. So I was helping them to do that. I understand where they got confused.
Okay.
And it's all, we were getting a food delivery. And so like, and I always want to be like, that's not an easy job to do, in my opinion. Like, that's not easy. You're going out there, you've never been to these areas, so it's just like anything I can do to help, I'm happy to do.
Sure,
it. Anyway, so as you were saying.
Oh, I was just reiterating the fact that like the Avengers have a lot of explaining to do after Doom is defeated.
Well,
where it's
I
like,
mean,
hey, so when are you? What's stopping you from doing all that?
Yeah, like why can't we have that other stuff though?
Yeah,
is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's just not, But yeah, when he was like going, and like I'm like, I understand what is happening here. I understand what North is doing, but I'm like, I don't love the fact that no one on the Avengers was like, should we maybe? I mean, like, listen,
yeah, but they've been there. They're like,
I know who it is. I'm just saying for optics,
right?
Maybe
we don't like punch like the teachers that are being hired to work on this job,
or like maybe we go like, hey, can we sit down and like talk with you so that like it's on public record? We tried, and when we found out was this, and that's
Doom
why we're
flashed
doing,
me. So
whatever, or he said something like this, and it was very like scary sounding, and so because of that, we're
it was a red flag. I don't know. I mean, but so they fight Doom. Doom turns the tables on them, shows everybody what tools the Avengers are, in kind of a way where I was like, this didn't feel as earned.
No, like in a way where I'm like
really,
folks. Really?
The idea being that like Doom killed Baron Zemo, replaced him with a Doombot, and the Doombot Zemo told everybody that like to fall in line with Doom. The Avengers prove that he was a robot, that Doom murdered Zemo and then replaced him with a robot, and then made him lie to the world about being Zemo and falling in line with his plan. And so the Avengers announce that to everybody in the world, and Doom's like, yeah, I did that. But like, why do they want to get rid of universal healthcare so bad? Like,
that's not what he says. Like, it's because of the fact that the Hydra agent was like find that out because Tony can't help himself. He's like, no, it's cool. I'm going to show everybody what you showed us.
Yeah.
So because of that, Hydra's like, wait, we're following like a false like Zemo.
Yes.
So they turn on everybody they're standing around.
Right.
And so Doom's like, cool. So yes, I did that because like I don't really think anyone's too upset about me like disposing of Zemo and then utilizing Hydra in order to like basically pay their debt to society.
Right. Absolutely.
But now like the Avengers have made it so like I can't do that anymore. And so he gets out his big dinosaur and he goes and like saves that lady who's like, yes.
Who's like, yeah, no. I mean, like if I'm gonna be rescued by Dr. Doom, I'm now a Doom fan. But like, it felt kind of like flimsy. It felt like there was a bigger idea. And somebody upstairs is like, no.
I mean, I guess it's just that you don't need a bigger idea. Like, you just like, he's like right in every way, shape, and form. Like, yeah, just like, yes. But like, literally reading his promises, I was like, I was waiting for the thing that was like Doom being like, and all you have to do is kneel to Doom. And he doesn't even do that. And I'm like, and he's not like, I'm going to force everybody has to go have an education. It's a Doom Latveria education.
It's all electable. Feel free.
Just go for it. It's just like, we should all have these things. And I'm like,
I can't argue with that.
You're making it,
but why, Doom? Like, but what's your angle? Though?
It's the that there's like an asterisk somewhere and it's super teeny tiny. We just haven't seen it
yet.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to
this issue. I was like, what?
Yeah, but fun.
I have that?
Feels like a Marvel book. I dug it. I had a good time. What did you think
of the art?
Not great. I didn't love it. I like RB Silva, and I think he's experimenting. But like, yeah, it reminded me of like of a 2000s style that I was not a fan of during that time.
Yeah, there were some great stuff in this, like the dinosaur.
Oh yeah, Doomosaur as
Doom
Rex
looks really
the D-Rex.
Great.
Yep. Iron Man looks great. Like all the inorganic non-human characters look awesome.
Yeah, my number one reason for hating this art.
You hated it?
Hang on. I'm gonna make it's an incoming joke, so please don't take this for real.
Yeah.
The number one reason I have for hating this art is that is not what Doctor Strange looks like. I hate this look for him, and I am not his like feathered hair. Not here for it. Steve, I don't know what's going on with you, buddy, but like let's no, this is not a good look.
You look like D'Artagnan.
It's just no, I was not enjoying this.
No.
Not enjoying this, so therefore I did not
so therefore it sucks. Yeah, no. I think the hero stuff looks great. Like I had no significant issue with it.
Yeah.
The human faces were a little off.
A little rough, but like that
especially
that
last moment, like that last page of the
the lady looking up that big moment.
Yeah.
But
but the dinosaur looks great. Iron Man's suit looks like dope, and I was like, I'm so thankful that they kept that neat looking design, even though the book itself is a book I don't want to read. But everything looks great. Yeah. The big energy sequence where Doom's blasting things and having a lot of green. It was just kind of like things were getting lost.
This is a Doom book.
I know. The other thing I had an issue with was that like everyone is calling the world's phone. Like Doom calls the world and he's like, here's some things, blah, 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 blah. Then Zemo's like, and also me, blah, 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 blah. And then Iron Man's like, and also me. Like, it would just be exhausting. Like it would make me like hate any superpowered person on Earth if like the world's phone was called 4 times in like a 24-minute setting.
I know why, but it's like, oh, we're all cool with this when it's like not mutants doing it.
Yeah, but Xavier says that while you slept, the world changed, and suddenly we're gonna create orcas.
It's like, I beam it into your head and it's not okay, as opposed to beaming it into your rectangle.
Yes, there is a significant difference between.
What if I was in the middle of a game and now my game's ruined? Thanks a lot,
at least,
Doom.
At least I don't
Give
have
me my healthcare.
Yeah, I would take the healthcare. I'm going to need it after that brain whammy from Xavier and his big stupid head or helmet thing. But I recommend it. I'm going to check it out. Although I did look at the reading list and I'm like, wow, I'm not going to read any of those.
I didn't look at the reading list at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait, really? There's a reading list?
Yeah, and it's actually not. It's a conservative list. I was like, this is not too much.
Doom Academy? Is that where we're getting our universal education?
I think that's like the Strange Academy book, but run by Doom.
Oh, that is that. Oh, I'm probably gonna read that.
Yeah, like these are all books. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. Like Weapon X-Men. No, I'm not gonna read that.
Well, you're reading Storm.
I'm reading Storm, so I'll see that, and that's fun. But like, yeah, like
Dr.
NYX, no.
I'll probably read that.
Iron Man, no. Amazing Spider-Man, no.
I'm not excited about the new team for Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then no. But Doctor Strange Asgardian whatever has been on like the list. People have been pitching that forever. I don't know why, but yeah, you're applying to Doom Academy. That sounds good. But yeah, so One World Under Doom. I mean, good opening.
Apparently, based on this like single like solitary pitch of like healthcare and education and all of that, I'm like, yeah, and magic, sure.
Right. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Did you read this?
Yeah, of course I did.
All right, Moon Knight time, everybody.
I read Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, written by Jed MacKay with art by Pramanik. Can't remember what their first name is because I didn't have it ready because I was still looking at the reading list. Dev Pramanik.
Yes.
Man, this book is great.
I'm glad. I'm glad it's still great. We were literally just using it as an example of a book that's better than Amazing Spider-Man. I hope it's still good.
This book is quite excellent. And art's finding its way, but just like Cappuccio at the start of his run and his time with MacKay on Moon Knight, I feel like we're watching a similar process where it's like at times really strong and at times I'm like, we need a little more work, and that's okay. That does not mean that this person is not a good artist. It just means like, hey, we're just, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. But overall, this book is phenomenal. We're watching the Midnight Mission trying to still do their mission without having the mission.
Sure.
Since it was killed, and everyone is looking for them.
Yes.
The cops, people, everybody's looking for them. But they're like, we went underground and we're still going to try to do good work out there. Yep. And we have this really great moment between Soldier and the Fist of Hunter's Moon.
Oh yes, Hunter Moon.
Who is not dressed up like Hunter's Moon. So he's like, you just call me Dr. Bader. It's fine. Where they go to check in on a family because there's like a family, little boy's like ill. Dad's like, no, you're bad people. And they're like, Soldier's like, oh, you believe them? Like, oh, you believe the cops? He just can't do anything but want to be like fighting and active and all of that. And like, Bader's like, we can do other things. Like, we're not just there to punch people and whatever.
Right.
Like we are here to do good.
We're doing good. Yeah, we're doing good work.
And so there's a little lesson there. And we see Tigra kind of lashing out again. She's got new news. She's upset with Mark, like all of it. Like it's just, it's not good. It's not good.
Okay.
Reese is with her and she's like, listen, like you relax. I understand you're in a bad place. You're mad at Mark, like, but like pull it together. So they go back down where they find like what's left of the Vermin Squad.
Oh yeah.
And the reveal of like have Mark left to go have that fight. I thought we were going to work towards it. No, he went to go and have the boxing match.
Oh,
and it's actually that's just so well done. It's just so
That's great.
well, like that boxing match.
Yeah.
So good. I was like, I don't care about boxing.
You got to read Black Canary.
Love this man. Okay, it's not just because of the boxing.
I know.
It has like, literally everything to do with the fact that like Mark is talking about like, because obviously he's just wearing just the pants.
Yeah. And the hood?
And the hood. Or like, and the face mask thing, not the hood. And like his arm wrappings.
Oh, that's cool.
And his foot
he looks great.
Right? Like he looks amazing. But like he's talking about how like he's talking to Khonshu basically. He's like, when you bring me back, you always leave like I've got like marks, I've got this, I've got that. And he's like, yeah, it's to remind you of the lessons that you had, like that you've gotten from when you died.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he's like, all right, cool.
Cool. All right.
So he goes out there and he's just wailing.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the guy, and like it looks like he's gonna win, and it's really, really clever the way in which I'm trying to remember what this guy's name is. I can never remember. Our Achilles, Fairchild.
Oh.
So he's just wailing on Achilles, and I love this because obviously Jake and Steven are watching.
Oh, sure.
But like Jake's in a bar watching the fight on the TV, and I was like. And they're both giving advice like, yeah, keep up the pressure. You got to keep him down. Like, just end this. Let's finish it up. And, it looks like he's going to kill him. And that's when Achilles is like, okay, cool. Are you done? Because like, I was just letting you, I wanted you to feel good about yourself.
Oh
before
my God.
And he just like shakes him off. And the fight continues. And there's this amazing moment where like, Moon Knight's talking to, or Khonshu's talking to Moon Knight. And he's just like, don't you remember what I told you? Like, look at him. Like, he says he's a boxer, but there are no lessons on him.
Oh.
And he's like, you have powers. He's like, no, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't have powers. I don't have powers. I grew up on like a farm. Like I was like a this and like whatever. Like I just didn't tell you where. From Asgard.
Oh. God damn it.
And I'm like, yes.
That's cool.
Yes. This is fun.
That's cool.
This is fun. I love Moon Knight's in a bad way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Man, he looks like Spider-Man written by Zeb Wells. That's great. I love it.
What'd you say?
He looks like Spider-Man written by Zeb Wells because, Spider-Man kept getting punched in the face and blood shooting out of his mask and everything.
Oh, well, I mean, but it's Moon Knight. And
right,
like,
so he's not crying and peeing his pants.
But Moon Knight's also in like a weird place. So he went out and he sought this out.
Yeah, no, I know. That's awesome.
Like this fits for him and everybody's going to be real mad at him over it. And
that's cool.
It's like, I get it. Obviously, this is also an example of like, you can't let character grow too much because then it doesn't become the character as much anymore. But like for Moon Knight, it makes sense. It takes him a lot. It takes him a lot to get there.
Yeah.
So just such a great issue. Like I could not believe how much I responded to this issue and the story in it. Yeah. And that reveal. And I was like, where is this gonna go wrong for him? And like when he just shakes him off, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where. Okay.
That's awesome.
I just hiccuped.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
How cool.
Good stuff.
Love it. It's funny. I was looking at the like One Nation Under Doom like reading list.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Like, but like how all the books. It reminded me of a pitch that I had a long time ago about like introducing Doom to the Marvel Universe instead of doing like one Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And then making it the biggest, most spectacular, like bombastic, expensive movie in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That like if you were to introduce Doom, you do a Fantastic Four movie, introduce Doom, and then like all like your next rollout is just movies where the heroes battle or team up with Doom. So it'd be like Spider-Man versus Doom and Doctor Strange teaming up with like Triumph and Torment, like Captain America dealing with Doom. Like you just adapt all these different Doom-centric stories with different heroes, and just like just showcase how versatile and interesting Doom is, and just go with Doom the whole time. And I was like, man, I wish they did that.
A comment I can hear in my head, and it's stressing me out for sure.
So finally, we also read Absolute Batman #5 from our friends over at. God damn it! I did it again.
Just share this tab instead.
There.
Ta-da!
Yay! Absolute Batman.
You'll get it.
Thank you.
I know you know.
Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta. This is the last chapter of the first arc. But it will be an ongoing series, as most, if not all, of the Absolute series are.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
There's no way you'd read this and think that this
is the end.
This is the end.
No,
there's just no way.
I know, but people like because in the metadata they said part 1 of 5. People are like,
I understand.
But yeah, this book feels like the first issue, And I mean that in a like good way, and not in a way where it like feels like it's repetitious. It's just like it is as good as issue 1. Like issue 1, it feels like it's all part of the same package. It doesn't feel like an individual, like, it feels like it's all part of the same thing. Like it feels like it was all made at the same time. Like this reminded me of the first 2 or 3 issues of Absolute Batman, as opposed to like that weird deviation when it was drawn by Gabriel Hernandez Walta, which looked great, by the way, but was not the same. This sees Batman deal with the party animals and Black Mask and Alfred, and we get some flashbacks to his like him dealing with having been enveloped in bats and his response to the offer to become basically like main Prime Universe Batman.
So here's what's funny about that. I completely forgot about that. And so when I went back to look at the last issue, I was like, it wasn't in this.
No, it was in the one before that.
Right. But I was like, you know what I mean? Like in trade, it'll be better.
Yeah. It will read very well in trade, except for that one issue that's going to feel really weird. Which is, I think, the last issue.
Which I thought was
it's good,
fun.
I loved it. Fun. I loved it, but it's going to feel different. Art's fantastic, spectacular, bombastic. I loved it. I was a big fan of like how it looks, but it's everything that I said about issue 1 that I loved about it is on display here. The action's great. The colors are fantastic. I'm very happy with the Batman design. I
didn't think this issue was as strong as the start of this series, and I don't know if that's just because of that like interesting story break we took in the last issue. This just felt like and maybe it's just because I need to see this all as one piece.
Right. Yeah.
Like, 1 through 5. This didn't strike me as what I had no idea what Batman in this universe was thinking of doing, but this wasn't it. What I thought. Like, I was like, was this your plan the whole time? Like, you were just like, yes, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Well, I knew he wasn't going to take the money.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to take the money either, but I mean, like, that was your plan, was to get him to offer you a lot of money?
Right. No.
Or did you just make this plan up as you went?
No, he made it up as he went. He's
right.
not, he is a planner, but he's not super planner of Batman like the other universe.
Right. This guy is I get that. It just felt like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt a little like simultaneously like info dumpy.
Oh yeah.
And also a little like, oh, we're at issue 5. I gotta. Oh, okay. This.
Yeah.
A little bit. Well, and also the Purge.
It's very. Oh yeah.
And like V for Vendetta.
Yeah. Well, it's coming. That's definitely coming. The party animals basically rope Gotham into their shenanigans as well. The thing that I'm actually the most vexed by is like the consistency of the Gordon mayoral campaign, because like Gordon's running for mayor, he's also shacked up kind of with Martha, and I'm like, what? Like I think in the first 2 or 3 issues, probably first 2, like the second or third issue, Gordon's like, oh, we lost, like it's over.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because I know Gordon. I just trust everything he says. I'm like, well, why are we still making that a plot? If Gordon says they've lost, then they've lost.
Because he's a different Gordon.
But I like, that's what throws me off, is I'm like, oh, they're still running, but Gordon said they lost. And I know it's very stupid, but I was just like, I was like, oh yeah, he's still running. I thought that was over already. But that's cool. I was okay with that. Yeah. It's funny. Somebody mentioned in the chat that like that Alfred looks like Ra's al Ghul. I think that's on purpose. I always thought that Alfred looked like Ra's al Ghul, and I thought that was always on purpose. I think you're supposed to think that Alfred looks like Ra's al Ghul. But yeah, I dug it. I like the action. I like the feel of this book, because it feels like Batman, even when it isn't like what I come to expect. Like Dark Patterns, this ain't that at all. It's a completely different young Batman.
Absolutely. It's I don't know. Like, I just was like, oh, okay. Here we go. All right. It just, maybe it was just the pacing of that last issue.
It was the last issue.
Like, maybe that last issue just wasn't where I wanted it to be or needed it to be.
It did not need to be there. Like, not that it didn't do any. It wasn't like it was a bad comic
issue.
Yeah. But it did not help the pacing of this.
Maybe story. That's what my problem is. Admittedly, I don't remember if in the third issue we saw him do the spike thing where the spikes come out.
I thought we did, but I think it's because we've seen it on the cover.
And that's what I was like. We were talking earlier about covers. No, I mean, like,
teasing
covers,
what's
like,
happening. Like,
yeah,
next.
like when that happens to that guy, like I did a bit of that. I was like, nah. Like that guy's like, all right, I'm gonna get vengeance.
Yep.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, then he's like, I'm stuck. I can't get off of him.
Please just stop. Let's somebody.
This is horrible. I hate this.
I should not have done this.
Yeah. There's somebody mentioned something about this book, whether it was Joshua Williamson or Scott Snyder, I'm not sure which one, but like somebody mentioned how like, I love this Batman because he's never alone. And he's like not like our Batman who thinks he's always alone. And it's also hilariously never. This Batman is surrounded by people. Like at all times, there's someone working with him. Like whether it's like when he's young and he's surrounded by kids, like they're his age, or when he's like an adult and he's like doing his thing. He's got Alfred sometimes. Alfred quit this book, but he'll be back.
Right.
But you know, you got his mom, you got Barbara, you got his friends, like who are also the friends that he had when he was kids. Like he was never alone. Even when his father passed, like he's still like he had a group of people who wouldn't let him go away and brood.
Right.
And that's an element that I'm looking forward to seeing continue to like scaffold.
Sure.
Hey, we just had some connectivity issues, and so I'm gonna have to go ahead and end the show because there's no way I can stream a show from LTE on my phone.
Are you streaming right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was I saying about Absolute Batman?
Oh, that you hated it, and it's the worst thing you've ever read in your life.
I didn't say that. Are you kidding me? Get out of here with that trash talk.
Yeah. Listen, don't insult your cable provider. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I don't know, man. But
what
listen,
did you do?
thanks for watching. We will get back to you.
Do you want to read any sort of super chats?
I don't know how consistent this will look or sound.
That's totally fair.
I mean, like,
That's
you know,
good.
I could, I would like to, but I don't want to like subject the audience to like, you know, to crap.
That's very fair.
It's already bad enough. I mean, they get the crap that normally I give them, so I don't feel like I should do that. Okay. But I'll tell you what, maybe I'll try to do like an apology stream that's just the super chats, like later.
Okay.
You know?
What are you excited for next week? What was your book of the week? Mine was tonight.
Yeah, my book of the week was probably Batman Dark Patterns.
We can see and hear. Interesting.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, and I'm really looking forward to next week where Ultimate Black Panther will be coming out.
Avengers versus X-Men. I'm sorry, Aliens versus Avengers is coming out.
Nice. Are you reading Ultimate Wolverine?
No.
Okay. Amazing Spider-Man's also going to be coming out again.
Great.
Storm number 5.
Yep, I do like that. And the last issue of my Terminator run.
Oh my gosh. And G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. I'm reading
G.I. Joe is coming out for sure. Yeah, there is a new Zatanna book coming out. I'm going to be checking that out. Jamal Campbell on that. Very excited. Very excited. Question. Oh, a series I never thought I'd be I'm interested. I'm here for it. I'd like to know more. For sure. Power Fantasy number 6. See, this is where like I have had such light weeks, and now that there'll be no time, this coming up, super heavy.
Yeah.
Super heavy for me. Doom Academy number 1.
Oh yeah, you gotta check that out.
You kidding me? What is this? I don't even know.
Yeah. And Jenny Sparks, which I guess I'm on as well.
Terminator number 5.
Terminator 5.
Yeah. Can't wait. Cannot wait. So good. Can't wait for more from you.
Thanks. Well, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But yeah,
thank you to everybody for the well wishes. I appreciate you, and thanks for being okay with me taking the time I needed. Like I was feeling better, but my voice was weak, and like it was not good. You would not have enjoyed it. There was a lot of coughing.
It still is a little bit.
I almost just did it there. I definitely almost just did it there.
Yep.
I can't believe you're able to jump into the stream. This is great.
I know. It was neat.
This is great.
Neat idea.
Let me see if I can grab any of these super chats real quick.
All right.
I can't. No, I can.
I don't want to.
No, that's very fair.
You know.
That's totally fair. I know. Thank you to Thor Identity, though, for saying nothing pithy. Just woo. Welcome back, Tiffany.
I do appreciate that, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't believe the internet just went like, nah.
Yeah, it's consistent with what we've been dealing with this year.
Admittedly, we knew what we were getting into today. We had a high wind advisory, and that is often an issue for us around here. But we kind of thought we made it through it, so I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, I mean that was the last book of the review round.
It was. But like I love that you're such a fan of it, and it's just like it's the way I feel about Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
right.
I love that book. Though.
I think it's perfect from start to finish. I think every issue is great. And with Absolute Batman, like just the pacing of that issue 4 really, I think, messed up my pacing in terms of that book. And like issue 5 just felt like I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, like there's a lot. It's just a lot, right? Also, like, I guess both father figures in Batman's life that I'm so used to are so like themselves indifferent that I'm like, it's kind of throwing me.
Yeah.
Definitely throwing me.
That's fair.
So.
Well, thanks a lot. Thank you to our super chatters sponsoring today's show, and we'll talk to you soon. Sorry about this. So long, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.